Thank you, Jaya. What Jaya was saying about acceptance segues very nicely into a point that Sister Gyanamata, Yoganandaji's most advanced woman disciple, said. She said many very pithy, very powerful little things in writing letters to different devotees that she was counseling and serving. She said, "The things that happen to us do not matter. What we become through them does matter." And as Jaya was saying, the circumstances of our lives go all around. Master suggested that we be even-minded and cheerful. But if you take what Gyanamata said, the things that happen to us do not matter. What we become through them does. Depending on the direction of our attention, we are on one side of that equation or the other side of that equation. Because look at your own life. When something dramatic happens, and it's in the outward world, and we're very much engaged in that outward world, the things that happen to us jolly well do matter. If we win the lottery, if we get that promotion, if there's a terrible tragedy that comes into our lives, oh, it matters all right. It matters a lot. Why? Because our attention is moving out, and we're going up and down along the roller coaster ride of this Maya. How is it then that Gyanamataji can say the things that happen to us do not matter? Because in this world we have very little control over the things that happen to us. There's a whole world, there's a whole backlog, you might say, of karma that has been set into motion, and we don't have much control over that. Once you throw the boomerang out, it's going to find its way back one way or another. Once it's gone, you can't reach out halfway and say, actually, I really want to change my mind. I didn't really want to throw that. No, it's going to come back. And you can't change the fact of it, but you can change what you become through all of the different circumstances in your life. And this highlights one of the key aspects of Kriya, because we are busy in this world. From birth, our attention is going outward through the senses. We're very much engaged in all the activity and the requirements that this world poses upon us. We have to take care of our bodies. We have to take care of our families. We have to take care of all the different responsibilities that God has given us. But the most important thing that we have to take care of is the one thing that we can't see. We have to take care of our consciousness. What do we become? If we take that saying, what we become through the circumstances of our lives, through the things that happen to us, if we take that as our goal, Kriya is the key, because Kriya works on consciousness. And just as the stories that Jaya was telling illustrate, when you are in a state of bliss, it really doesn't matter that much what's going on. Swamiji told the story of the Swami who was coming back from his outing to the village with his back bleeding, and he was joyful. The children were having so much fun. We were throwing stones. Of course, they were, never mind that they were throwing them at him, and they were hitting his back, and he was bleeding. But it just didn't matter. And not every situation in our lives is going to be so dramatic, but to become even-minded and cheerful is to use the circumstances, to use the events of our lives to the best possible advantage. Because consciousness is the one thing we can never, ever get away from. Even if we go to sleep in death, leaving this body, Sooner or later we wake up, and what are we stuck with? Our own consciousness. And if we have made a good job of it in this lifetime, through the circumstances of our lives, if we have become something positive and powerful, and if we have become, really, if we have become ourselves, our true selves, then we have a beautiful consciousness to live in. Otherwise, we have a disaster. Swamiji tells a very cute story illustrative of this point. He saw a cowboy western, or perhaps he was watching the people coming out of the theater who had been watching this western. In any case, he saw this little 7-year-old or a young boy and his even younger sister walking out of the movie. And the boy was sort of walking bow-legged, like he had been sitting on his horse, his hoss, for the last few hours. And he turned around to his little sister who was lagging back behind, and he said, "Come here," in that beautiful Western accent. And his little sister didn't respond as enthusiastically and energetically as he might have hoped. So he said again, "I said, come here." Well, all of us select by instinct, by magnetism. We select certain influences in this world, and we imitate. We attract those things to us, and we put them on. But Kriya is teaching us how to become ourselves, our own divine self, and no other. This is why when you meet a saint, you are meeting a unique person who is unlike anyone else on the planet. And you can't compare, you can't say one saint is better or greater or more powerful. Each is exactly himself, who God made him to be, and as he is supposed to be. And his consciousness is as it is supposed to be, as it is designed to be. And when you're in that place, it just doesn't matter what comes and goes in your life. You have a wonderful day, it's beautiful. You have a terrible day, it's beautiful. It just doesn't matter because your consciousness is centered in the reality inside. The other day when I was studying some of these very yogic passages in the Bible, it occurred to me that it's all right there in the Bible if we look for it. There's a passage, the kingdom of God is within you. It comes not with observation, lo here, lo there. This is a way of saying it's not outside. It's not a place. Neither is Ananda a place. Yes, there's this beautiful, incredible, miraculous place here in Nevada City, near Nevada City. There are Anandas in many different parts of the world, but your Ananda is here. And this adventure, the adventure of finding what can your consciousness become, this is the adventure of Kriya Yoga. And in this week and through these classes, and really you could say the very mission of Ananda is to explore and experience that reality. And it's one thing more, because Jaya highlighted something that I too am very inspired by, the art of Kriya. How do you practice? We can teach what to practice, but how? How do you do it? How do you learn the art when the art is in fact inside of you and you have to find it for yourself? You find out, you learn by magnetism, by inspiration, and by drawing from the blessings and being around others in satsang. This is the best way to learn because it's of your own making, of your own choosing. Jyotish said something very helpful at the initiation last evening. He said, when you get the higher kriyas, you've earned the right to create and learn the practice, find the practice inside of yourself, to give more emphasis to the things and explore the things that are working for you. ultimately this is the destiny of each Kriyaban. Each Kriyaban will find Kriya for himself. And as Jaya said, if he accepts it as that instrument through which Guruji's grace comes, his life will be transformed forever. Namaste.